Good evening, guys. Hope you all had a good day. So I am Shravani. I've been working in IT for like more than 8 years, and I just worked like for a year in Java, and then most of my IT experience has been like Salesforce. So I've been an admin developer. So I've been working as a senior Salesforce developer for quite a few years now in few different companies with few different business backgrounds like financial, healthcare, all kinds of domains. So that is me, and that's all about me. So if we just um, go into the session today we'll just see an overview of let's see an overview of what we're gonna do today in the demo session. So in the demo, I'm gonna talk about like we're gonna know what is Salesforce, and we understand like how the career in Salesforce is gonna work. Like you can choose your career. I'll help you understand like what paths you can go in to choose your Salesforce career, like admin, developer, so on and forth, and see what kind of certifications you needed for your career to get jobs and start working, like understanding, get like more to get how to get more opportunities and all that using the certifications. So and then we look into how Salesforce work for like different businesses, as I talked about, like financial, healthcare, service domains, or marketing domains. So and then that's more of the talking side, and then getting into like more working side and doing stuff. So we'll set up a Salesforce arc, a developer Salesforce arc, which is not a one month trial version or nothing like that. It's something which you have permanently that you can go and go back. You can use as your playground as you start learning Salesforce and trying to get more knowledge about the Salesforce. So from there, we'll navigate here and there, understand what's happening, like how Salesforce is, different tabs, and all that. We'll see a couple of we'll do some tasks and do some uh, I want to development, like more admin part task. We'll do so, and then we'll take the questions if anybody has any questions. But feel free to like stop me anytime in the session if you have any questions. Okay. Um, let's dive in. Before we go to what is Salesforce, I want to go and talk about what is CRM. I want to ask a question like, does anybody know what CRM stands for? Any guesses what CRM stands for?
Oh, it's a customer relationship management.
Sorry, I don't know. I didn't get that.
Customer relationship management.
Yes. So exactly. So basically, name gives off like customer relationship management, how you handle customers. So that is Salesforce is a CRM platform. So it helps you. Let's assume you have a business started up. So in previous days, mostly it used to be like in Excels or like more to go back to the ancient ages, like more Excel, right? So if you have few sellers, like suppose you're selling a product and you have few sellers, it's easy to maintain your relationship with them. As you grow your company, as you have more salespeople, more other people coming into your company, you need a platform to have your data binded somewhere and like your product, your information, everything. So mostly like that's what CRM is, having all your customer information like accounts, leads, and sales, and all that. So we'll take a deeper look about the what is accounts, leads, and everything as we go more into the course. So basically, that's what CRM is. If we then go into like what is Salesforce, right? Um, Salesforce is a CRM platform. So this talks about like Salesforce, how you do sales, get service and support, and all the products. So getting into Salesforce, um, I said I think I repeated it more than 10 times. So it's a CRM platform which also helps you, the Salesforce, which also helps you to integrate with your other systems like databases, any other databases outside the cloud you want to integrate with, and build your own application. Salesforce by default gives you a few applications, but on top of it, you can create custom applications based on your business process or like business how it works. Like as your business grows, there's your process changes and your business gets complicated. You can create a custom applications on top of it. So let's see what all these are like few products and services that Salesforce offer. Applications I already talked about, like how you can create your custom applications and everything. So that is one. And the Force.com platform, this platform, the good thing about it is this platform comes with predefined layouts, predefined UI, and predefined tables called like objects. So it comes with like few of tables with relationships set up already. So you can use them as a base and customize on the top of it, or just live them out of the box and use the functionality, existing functionality, and make it work for your business. So that is another thing. And the last one is App Exchange. I don't know. I know nowadays everybody uses iPhones and there's like app stores or Google stores that you use. You buy different apps. So that's what Salesforce has. So I'm just going to give you a quick glance of what App Exchange is. So this is Salesforce App Exchange. What you can do in the App Exchange is you can download. It's like a plugin, right? On top of Force.com platform, you can plug in. Like you have project management tools. You have uh, quite a few variety of tools like task management tools and sales tools, marketing tools, and all those. So this is one of the products that Salesforce has. These are like few products I'm discussing that Salesforce has that we can utilize on top of what we already have from like the objects, tables, relationships. So this is like an overview of what is Salesforce, what is it, Force.com platform, and how you can use those applications, few of the products in Salesforce, right? And the next step, this is going to be an interesting one. So anybody has any questions in this point, because I know this is going to be a big concern or a point for anybody who's trying to get their career more into Salesforce. So please feel free to like stop by to ask questions. So there are quite a few different paths you can choose once you get into Salesforce, start learning Salesforce, getting more deeper knowledge in Salesforce. Admin developer. That's what like every other technology has, right? And there's another thing called like consultants. So since Salesforce, we a few slides down, we'll look into this. Like Salesforce is divided into a few different categories, like products wise, application wise, they group applications into a few different categories. So that's where the consultants come in. So that is consultant, and the architect is like the next level. So to talk about the administrator, like what you need, how you can uh, well, how you can grow your career as an administrator. If you're somebody who is looking to more focus on Salesforce administrator, so I'm gonna give you a high level overview of what you need to learn, like know more. And next slide we'll see what kind of certifications you need to add in. So I'll help you like at the um, end of the session. We'll show you where you can go learn more about the certifications and how to start getting more familiarized with certification courses and everything. So administrator is somebody who is just has work, like though like most of the administrators doesn't have a lot of code knowledge, but in Salesforce, administrators have to learn like teeny bit, like very teeny bit of course, like code knowledge, very minimal. So there will be like formulas you have to write in. So that's where you need like a tiny bit of developer knowledge. So administrator, what he does is like setting up the users more to work with databases and the data and the relationships and everything. Uh, More in this case, like a few slides down, I'll show you what we're going to do today is more admin side, administrator side, and the developer. There are like quite a few different hats a developer wear. So most of my experience, right? In most of my experience, I have been a developer, but like 99% of the time, I do an admin task too. So developer more, you have to have knowledge of Java. Somebody who needs OOPS concept, well, just knowledge of OOPS would be great, not deeper knowledge of OOPS or object-oriented language. Not a deeper is necessary, but just if you know, understand what are methods and classes, that's great enough to become a developer in Salesforce. That's the plus point. That's why I became a Salesforce developer. So developer is like more Apex UI. Apex is like the backend code, and Visualforce is like more UI code. That's where their tasks will be in most of my projects in the databases. That's what I have been doing. So consultants, this is where the when we come into consultants, like people choose to become consultants more than becoming an admin or developer. So when you become a consultant, you have few different paths you can choose. You can choose service, sales, or marketing. So if you are somebody who want to become a consultant, so you need to learn more, just so that everybody gets an idea what you need to more focus. If you have decided, I'm trying to give an idea about like what you wanted to choose, that helps your career. So it gives you an idea of what you need to focus more. So if you want to be a consultant, somebody want to become a consultant, they need to more focus about um, structure and relationships, the objects that are used for like service. If they want to become a service consultant, they need to understand more the relationships and the objects um, of the service object. So we'll talk about, I know I might confuse you guys, but objects are the tables in Salesforce. So you need to understand more service side tables and their relationships and how you can make them used for like complex logics. So they can be either developers or admins in a consultant, but um, more you have to do, at least in Salesforce, you have to understand the relationships and tables. So architect, it's like next level. So anybody who wants to uh, take more serious level in their career Salesforce. So we have to pass, anyways, you have to pass all these levels, like being an admin. So architect, you can, I would see like somebody being a developer can step into an architect role. So the next thing, so there are like few certifications that you can go through, mostly better to have for your resume. I would say like not better to have, good to have on your resume to help you gain more opportunities, more get your resume more highlighted in this marketing, like in this competitive world. So when if you, there are two different types of administrator certification: admin, advanced administrator. That's all you can do with, like, if you want to do an admin side, these are the two certifications you can take. But the other thing is like Salesforce does a release every season, like summer, spring, and winter. So you have to maintain your certifications on top of it every season. If you forget to maintain your certificate, they'll expire. So these are like two that needed for developer, like admin. For the developer, um, more like junior or mid-level developer. Let's talk about junior or mid-level developer. They can be, if you're considering to apply for more like junior or mid-level positions, you need like platform developer 1 or 2 certifications. That will be very good on your resume. Get that will add a lot of weightage to your resume and high chances of getting picked up. But if you want to go more like senior developer, senior side, then there is an advanced developer. Sorry, I forgot to include it here. But as I started talking, I realized I have to talk about the advanced developer, which is one of the complex certifications. It's more like real-time coding you have to do. Same thing with the developer certifications. You have to maintain every season, every release, you have to maintain them, otherwise they expire. And the other thing, like they're easy to track just by your first name and last name. Anybody can track your certifications. Anybody, even I can track your certifications just by your first name and last name. So that's what certification. So here is, no, sorry, that's the wrong window. I want to show like more where you can get more familiarized with certifications. If you go to certifications, salesforce.com home, credentials, you have all kinds of certifications. Oh, I forgot to talk about like consultants. Consultant certifications, you can do a Salesforce consultant certification or a marketing or service cloud consultant certification. So if you go to certifications.salesforce.com, you have all the information, more detailed explanation about the certifications. But just to talk more about the career-oriented path, somebody who wants to be admin first two, somebody who wants to be mid or junior level, developer one, developer two, but somebody who wants to be like senior level, you need developer one, two, and advanced developer. And somebody who wants to be consultants, they have their own area of consulting certifications that if they choose to go. So that's the route for certifications. Any questions?
Oh,
Okay, so let's
Okay.
talk. Sorry, did I interrupt
Yeah.
somebody?
Yes, I have one question here. You said for the Salesforce administration, right? For the certification or for that role, what are the prerequisites? Do we need to have any prior programming knowledge, or what amount of knowledge we need for that?
For an admin side, to write an admin certification, no programming, no prerequisites. You don't need any OOPS or any knowledge or anything for that. No prerequisites. All you need to know is Salesforce admin part, like users, profiles. Like we'll go into the course, but I just don't want to confuse people.
Oh,
So
okay, got it.
know is more Salesforce
admin
part.
Got it. Yeah.
and Shravani, one more thing. I have a question. For the administration, it is like more or less like a configuration, or does it involve any installation and setup as well?
Yes, it does involve installation and setup, which I talked about, like the app exchange. So mostly app exchange apps, installation and setup is a part of admin role. So this is just straightforward. You usually get a set of instructions when you're trying to install any application, but not from Salesforce side. You don't have to do any installations or anything to work on Salesforce. It's all cloud on the internet, no software installations, nothing.
Thanks.
Yeah. That was a good point about like prerequisite. If you want to write an advanced administrator, administrator is a prerequisite. You have to finish that, and then only you can write the advanced administrator. But it's not the same case. Well, if you want to do an advanced developer, platform developer 1, 2 are prerequisites, like prereqs to do like advanced developer. But admin side, you don't have prereqs other than knowing Salesforce administrator work. So let's talk about like business. What kind of businesses use? Pretty much most of the businesses use Salesforce, right? And how they use, like just to give you a business knowledge, right? Before you want to do any project, you want to start understanding a little bit of the business, why they're doing this project. So that's why I'm giving a little bit of business knowledge. So I'm going to give examples about two business scenarios like today. financial and healthcare. So let's talk about financial domain, right? Any financial domains. Mm, let's assume I have a company, a banking company, or like investment company or something. So I I have like few products or like few types of loans that I give to people. So I can use Salesforce to have like if I have to, let's assume I have this industry like a financial company, but I have hired somebody to do my Salesforce application. So that somebody is going to come and do a Salesforce application. So to what we do for like financial company, what kind of Salesforce application we do. So that's what we're going to learn, right? So somebody with financial, they need to store their customer data and understand like what kind of loans they have. So they need to save that different types of loan data somewhere and see how they're like, let's assume how the growth is going, right? How many investors are coming in. So how everything is happening, like see the flow of your company growth, I would say company growth. So that's where you can talk about like financial companies. You can work on like getting your customer data and also creating like products and sell like adding those products like whoever has which kind of loan, and then you can do reports or dashboards to see the growth or like the what is your every month or every day progress of your business. So that's more like financial side. When I talk about healthcare side, how they use Salesforce for healthcare, more like keep track of clients, like sorry, that's the wrong word. Create, keep track of their patients, patients data. That's an example, right? There are like multiple different ways why healthcare can use a Salesforce, but this is an example. They can use Salesforce to track their patient data, like vaccines, reminders. Yeah, they can send out like emails, reminder emails, and all that using Salesforce. So here are the few examples like how they can use, which ways they can use. They can like in two different business scenarios, but it can be used as like in a service company, something like a call center to call the tracks to track the calls and the information that somebody logs in a case. When they call in and logs in a case, they can have track of that case escalation and everything. So those are like different scenarios. You can create an application in Salesforce. So that's it. So now we get into less talking part and more working part. So here I'll pin a link in the chat. So that's helpful for everybody. So here is a URL that you can sign up for your Salesforce Developer Edition. You just put in your name, email address, like a valid email address, because you like the first time you try to sign in, you'll get a verification to your email address. Just give it any company, but when you come to your username, I would say use your email address. That would be easy when you try to log in, but no, nothing like just first name and last name. You have to have at the rate or something, but just for like avoid the confusions, because if you have two different email address and the username different, most of the times you can get into confusion. But the best way I would say is use your email address as your username. So I'll give everybody like 10 minutes to set up their orgs, because after this we wanted to just, or you can do after the class, but it would be helpful to kind of navigate along with me once I start showing you the next steps. Next slide is like more going into the art and looking at the applications tabs and setting up users and roles. So a basic minimal admin work we're going to do today in the class. So I just sent this link in the chat, but let me know if you can try if you guys are stuck or anything happens, so I can help you to set up. But this is something like free. It's not a trial period. You can always go back and use as your playground. As I said, once you start working, use as your, like, if you get into any of the projects you need some complex code or like testing to do, you can use this. So that's how it is helpful, and one of the basics to start any like Salesforce training. Learn about Salesforce.
What role do you want us to select? Do you want us to select developer or admin role?
With whichever you choose, whichever path you choose, you want it to go. But I would suggest take a developer, which gives you all the access.
Uh-huh.
So I would say developer. Developer does give you admin, but admin gives you a limited access of developer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, correct.
So 8:30 p.m. EST, my time. Let's. I'll check in 5 minutes. Any questions? You guys can please feel free to start. Raise your hand.
So for a regular practice, we will be accessing the developer Salesforce website only, or do we need to install any client on our local desktop or local machine?
No, this is all you need. You don't need to install anything in your machine. This is all you need. Once you sign up, I give you the URL that you can use. And you just type in the URL, give in your username, password, you log into Salesforce. Within like practice. After you sign in, this will be the URL you can use to log in. So if you, when you're setting up, it will definitely send an email to your emails, whichever you're using to set up for verification. So let's give it till like um, 8:40. Any issues? Meanwhile, please raise your hand. I'm here. Also, please type in yes. We'll see once you're done. So if I can get an idea about. Can you guys hear me? Somebody said like cannot hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Just type in yes as you're done with setting up. Yeah, I saw one. Somebody typed yes. whoever typed this, are you guys able to get into this page that I'm showing right now? Okay, somebody said, okay, you're good. ID and password, the ID and password that you use to register, uh, used in setting up the first page that I showed you before. So the username would be your ID, and when you try to verify your account, that's where you put in your password. 'So we're just signing up right now. Uh, yes, it's okay to yes, allow access, yes. 2 more minutes. Anybody any issues? Whoever is done with setting up their Salesforce environment, congratulations. You guys have a playground to play with to learn your Salesforce. So in future classes, like future sessions, we'll see how you can connect this art to like um, different things, like different advantages that you have with Salesforce. So right now we're focusing more on setting up, getting you more familiarized with Salesforce. So you don't have to like you can play around with it, do whatever you want. Just if you're start learning, if you're enthusiast, if you're somebody who wants to start playing around, exploring stuff, you can do this. It doesn't harm and it doesn't send out any notifications, emails, or anything. It's yours. So we're done that part. So next one, we're gonna see look around few different things in Salesforce, get familiarized with the org. So everybody who signed up should have gone into the screen. Like they should have able to get into the screen. Once you log out, if you want to know how to log back in, so you can go here, log out once you're done. So if you have to log back in, you put in your username here. Sorry, you have to pull up my username. So you put in your username that you gave when you signed up and your password. If anybody has this part shown up once you log in, you can skip it. It doesn't matter. Like you want to register your mobile. What happens if you register your mobile or something is if you try to more when you get into like real-time world, right? Real-time working on a project. If you try to log into in a different browser. So right now I'm logged into my own network and Chrome browser. So if I log in some other network and the Chrome browser or some other browser, it will send me a verification code. It always sends a verification code to your email. It's an additional option. You can get notifications to your email like verification code or any notifications like email notifications or anything. So that's why it asks you this step. It's optional. It's up to you. If you wanted to register your mobiles, you can just do that. I always do skip it. So here we come into the R, and the first thing is let's see. So you logged in, like this is you. So this is me, my R, my user. So we'll go and see how we can look into your details and what kind of role or profile you have. We'll talk more about roles and profiles further down the lane, but just remember that roles and profiles, those play a major role in Salesforce because that defines what you see, what you have access to. So all you have to go click on your name. Everybody, I logged in as a Salesforce training, so I have this name, but if you gave your name, it will have your name, and then go to my settings. You have your options. Change your password, edit personal information, and all of that. It's good. Then you have like personal information. So this one, the advanced user details, you just want to remember this. The advanced user details. This one has all your information access. Profile gives you the highest, like the system admin profile is the highest access. Role, I don't have any role. It's optional, but profile is always required if you're doing a user. So we can, in future steps, we'll look into how to create roles and how to assign roles to users and all those. So this is how you get into your information. You have change password, your personal information. And I want to talk about the other thing is reset my security token. So this is something important. You wanted to note this too. These two are like the two important things you want to remember when you logged in, when you want to look into your information. This is one of the important points. We'll talk about it later, but I just wanted to stress reset security token and advanced user details are the two major things you can use a lot. If you have to change anything or like access wise, if you want to give, though you being a system admin, you have the highest access, but any other access or information or any integrations or anything, these are the two things you need. Those are the important things. So advanced user details, reset my security token. So change password and everything, just pretty much you can see here. These are like email, you customize your tabs. We'll go deeper into that but just after this class, just try to look around each detail in them. Input is important. Desktop add-ons, you can ignore. now, for now, because it's more deeper subject for an admin, more towards the admin side. Chatter is like a messenger, like Google Hangouts. Not, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry. Yeah, more like Google Hangouts or like Skype, or it's a chatter. Like chatter is like a messenger within Salesforce. So if I have multiple users, they can use chatter to talk to each other. So that's one more thing. We'll look into more deeper. So how your information, like first thing we understood how our information looks, where we have to go in and look for the information. I'm just going to repeat one more time. Click on your name, my settings, and then personal. That's where you have your information. And the next thing, so you set up, you always go back to, if you go back to like home screen, click on home, set up, both different UIs, but both takes you to the home part. So you might be wondering what all these are. So these are typically objects to compare with something more in the non-Salesforce language. These are tables. We can call, they're more, objects are more as tables in a database. So if you click on the plus sign, you can customize. You see these are all the tables we have in our like default. These are like the default ones you got once you set up. So nothing that you, this is everything you get, nothing customized on top of it. It's just the basic. So on the top screen, like what is the advantage of having here instead of clicking the plus sign is you can just click here and go to that object. So you see all the records if you have anything. So right now there's nothing, it's empty. I created today. So if you click on the plus sign and customize my tabs, you can keep adding more. So you can see on the top. So now accounts is on your UI toolbar. So you can click on it, go see any new accounts. You'll have like some test data that comes up. So that's how you don't navigate to different objects. These are called objects in Salesforce. These are all the records like database tables. Objects are more like tables to relate to database. So any questions, any concerns? Please feel free to stop if I'm like going too fast. Are we good so far? Okay. So this is the home bar. You'll get here. So usually you'll have all your tasks. Like if you sync up your calendar, you'll have all your tasks and any items that you upload. We'll see what you see, but this is the basic home page you get. And you have a recycle bin. Anything you delete will be here, like in this recycle bin. So that's where we are. And then this is an important part, setup, right? So this is where all it starts with. Everything starts from here. If you're an admin, developer, everything starts here. So if you click on setup on your left-hand side, more counter to your left-hand side, you have all the tasks, like all the things that you can do in Salesforce. Like for today, just look into like manage users and users. So this is the place you can create. This is the basic first step. If you're like very basic, if you have got into your project, if you're given to like set up a Salesforce or create a Salesforce or then set up, the first thing they ask you to do is like set up the users. That means add the users. So everything you can manage your applications, and here the create part, if the create and the build part, the customization, create and build part. The customization part is also more admin, but the create and when it comes get deeper into like develop, that's more side towards the development side. So for today, just like you guys can like keep around and play around with all these and look into it. There are like few different applications, like um, breakdowns how you can do different things, create application, create apps, and everything. So we'll start with manage users just for today. You can click on users. Everybody can create this. Like, let's do it. I'll just show, and like you guys can keep doing it. So you can click on new user. You have been like, once you log in, right? Once you register yourself, you have created your art. You can add more users on clicking new user. You give their first name. Let's do mine. You see few fields like auto fill up as you type, like do few things. See, alias is auto filled up, and give an email address. So these are not mandatory fields, but it is a good practice if you're trying to work, if you're more in the client environment, but it's a good practice to put in a title and everything, but they are not required. Just so that I want to throw out there. It's a good practice if you start doing all these, putting in all the information. But one of the major roles when you're trying to create a user, the first question, like somebody gives you a task to say, suppose I am a user, business user, right? I come to you and I ask you to create like 10 users, 10 new users. So you can just say yes, but you need to ask two questions, primarily one question, very importantly. That is like, which profile do you want them to be? So profile makes a major, like plays a major role when you're trying to create a user. So that's the first question you want to ask them. So the license, pretty much in the real time, whenever you choose platform license. Since this is a developer edition, you only have one license, one extra license that you can use as a platform developer. Once you create one more platform, Salesforce platform person, you're done. You cannot create anymore. Since this is a dev or free version, we are limited. But when you get into client environment, real time, you'll have more options. But as a profiles, you can, as we start creating more profiles, you can have like system admin and everything and the role. Do you want me to create like sales users or like just the marketing users or anybody? Those two are like primary questions you ask anybody if it comes to you and say like, hey, create users. Then you ask them back like, what should be the role and profile. If they don't have, if we don't have the profile that they asked us to create, we have to create the profile too. But we'll take that slow and take it in the future ones. But this is how you create a user. I already have an account set up in this name, so that's why it's throwing me an error. So you cannot use the same username multiple times. The usernames are always unique. Okay, nobody uses this username, so good. So I've created a user. That's it. We have another user in the profile, like in this org. So you guys can create the user. Any questions? Did I go too quick to understand? All you have to do is log in to create a user, click on setup. First, very first step, manage users, new user, give in all the information, profile. For the license, please choose Salesforce platform or Salesforce. So when you choose Salesforce, you have more options, right? So everybody try to create at least one Salesforce user and a chatter or something else. You can choose any other licenses. Other licenses are free, unlimited. Just the Salesforce and Salesforce platform has limitation. So please, like go into the art, try to create few users, multiple users. That's a different story, like more deeper. I'm just showing you basic. If you have to create multiple users, then you have to do like data load. You have to import into a data load. So that's going to be like that's something we'll learn in future steps. But yeah, we can do create multiple users. Yes, but if you are trying to load multiple users from um, a different system, but you have to, like if you have an Excel or something that has multiple users that you want to load into, you have to make sure you map them with a profile for sure. If not the role, profile. So you take a profile ID and copy in your Excel, create a new row and load it. That's how you have to do. But just to stress out how profile is important. So we looked into the home tab, home pages, menu setup, and created. I think I went a little further and explained to you how to create a user. So sales, service, and marketing. So I talked about these objects, right? If you look at here, there is a tab with different applications. These are pre-built applications you get within Salesforce. So I click on sales. You see my taskbar has changed. So these are like the major objects or the tables that are used more for sales. Let me go to marketing. You'll see more opportunities and reports. So that is marketing. Servicing, you'll see cases, solutions, and reports. So just look around, understand each application, how the objects have been changing, like what are the major, they give the more frequently used objects, more used objects that need to be entered, like have a flow in the top bar on the top tab. So those are the three different applications you can look into, majorly used, most frequently used. So we saw how to create a user. So we'll see. I'm going to skip for this session. I'm going to skip creating a role because I think we already at the mark of an hour, but we'll talk about it next one. But I'm going to show how to create a profile. The good manage users. The next step is profile. You already have, most of the times, like 99 out of 100 times, we won't have we don't get into the case of creating a new profile. That makes sense. Like most, because like you have most of the profiles created already. See, like sales profile, you have a sales profile. You have you'll have a marketing profile. So like in a real time, 99 point like 90, I wouldn't say 99, 95% of the time you won't need to create a new profile. But here's how you create a new profile if you have to. New profile. So let's assume you want to create another sales profile or marketing profile. You can use one of the custom profiles that's given as a base and say this as a national marketing or yeah, something like that. And it will give you the basic access of the profile, like the marketing profile, but you can click edit and give more access. This is where you can customize more and do more changes. You can even do on the custom, the default one that you get with Salesforce. But if you want to create one more for like have different access for different areas, right? Like national has different access, or like local has different access. So that's when you create like multiple profiles based on the master, like the custom marketing. So that's why you use different profiles. So let's get this part of creating roles to our next session, because it is more deeper creating roles. I just don't want to hurry and get people more confused. So let's keep that role part to next session. But before we go into questions, so the course content, like I'm just giving you a real high level overview. Like first we'll do admin. We'll learn admin course, what we do, like the objects, creating those users profiles and creating new objects. We are already looked into the existing objects, but creating new objects more like in that way. Like somebody just now asked us like how to import multiple users. So these all come into like admin side. So we'll talk more about that as an initial few days, few hours of our course, and then we get into more deeper dive developer course. So this is where we get like a little more serious writing, learning about Apex codes, limitations. What are the limitations that you have to keep in mind when you're writing code in Salesforce, right? And the Visual Force is the UI. Apex is more backend, and Visual Force UI. And then this is just an overview, but we'll learn more deeper dive into the code and everything in the developer version and the admin version. So admin would be first few days, and the rest would be the developer. So overall, the course will be like 45 hours. Any questions? Sorry, I've been doing all the talking, but now I want to give a chance. Somebody has any questions? Anybody? We'll look into sample Apex code for sure, but I just don't want to confuse people the first day. Giving more, I don't know, like there might be people who just new to Salesforce, and the sure will have tasks and more coding once we get deeper into the code. So just to talk about like the style and the approach I wanted to take when we go through these courses is I'll explain when we go more into like code side, right? I'll explain code. I'll give you one scenario, I'll explain it, and then I'll give some other scenario to you guys to like do practice. So that's how. Yeah, more I would say like which career you want to choose. But if you don't know Java, you can like if you're interested towards learning code, developer should also be good. Just like basic Java knowledge you need to have, like the classes, the methods, those concepts would be great. So I'll give a couple more minutes for questions, and then we'll wrap the session. Thank you guys for joining the session.
Excellent, Shravani. Thanks a lot for an excellent demo today. Hope all the friends like it. If anyone has any question, you can always reach out to us on the phone number and the email ID we have provided in the chat window. And once again, thanks a lot, and have a good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.